Hello. Um, so I just ate some food, ate some dinner. Today was pretty productive. Coached, went and got some groceries, cooked some lunch, went to practice. Practice wasn't that great because I had like a little back thing going on, so I kind of had an abbreviated practice. Had to change some things up. I was supposed to throw today, but I couldn't. Like I was just like doing like cooking, and then I felt like my back like spasmed a little bit, and it just kind of shut me down. But anybody who knows back pain knows that you don't really push through it unless you need to, and I don't need to. So that was kind of my methodology going into today. Like save it for when it matters, and today really, in the grand scheme of things, one day doesn't matter, but a collection of days matters, So, unfortunately, couldn't get after it as much as I would have liked. Hopefully, I'll feel better tomorrow and we can get after it. But, it is what it is. Like, it'll happen eventually. If I need to do an extra day on like a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever it is, like it'll get done. But unfortunately, today didn't work out. So, made the most of it still. Got some plyometrics in. Was there for my teammates, and was talking with them about some things that I was seeing with their throws, and was kind of just like a good productive practice in not so much for my own personal growth, but like for helping out teammates and stuff. So I'm not gonna call that a net loss, as it's a net gain. But yeah, cooked some steak for dinner. It's right here. It was really good. Steak and rice, and yeah, but I mean, yeah, gotta love it. I did have a conversation today with one of my teammates, and I think that this is the themes can kind of push its way into stuff that actually matters with other people too. But we're talking about like, I think it was something involving like some of the stuff going on with like the Final Four or like basketball, like March Madness, that stuff. And so we were talking about it, and like how like there was one coach, I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was like talking about how they could have done so much better, but like external factors like the refs or like the fans or whatever happened, and like the one thing that I think is really important to realize in sports is that if you take 100% accountability for your actions, and like you're 100% convinced that you are the sole factor that determines the outcome of whatever you're doing, then you're going to be better for it. And I think that you kind of you fall into these holes sometimes of like, oh, why me, or I should be in a better training situation, or I wish my coach was better, or I wish I had opportunity as much as like the next person. But like I've been lucky enough to be in good training environments, good universities, but I also wouldn't really call it luck, because I've worked from I probably started taking sports serious around like 11 or 12, and then from there started taking javelin serious around like 16, and then from there like maybe not 16, like I started understanding that like javelin was an avenue for me to explore around 16, and then 18, 19 I kind of fell into the hole that is javelin, and now I'm working my way through it. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot to be said about somebody who takes full responsibility for everything that goes on with their training, with their relationships. Like a lot of times too, like I'll like talk to people, and like whether it be just like friends, teammates, whatever, things that are going on, and like they're giving me these. It's very easy to judge from an outside perspective too. I'll kind of throw that out there as a caveat. But a lot of times, like I'm listening to people, and we're having conversations about what could be better, what could be worse, all this stuff. And like at the end of the day, like I'm like, well, have you tried having a conversation with this person, or have you tried to talk to them about what's going on? Like, how are you framing these problems whenever you're bringing it up to them? And like 9 times out of 10, like they're problems that could probably be solved with a good conversation, or removing themselves from an environment that they have complete control over. So like, I don't know. I don't want to get into the weeds of all the personal conversations that I've had with people, but I'm trying to be as vague as possible too, because like, track is one of those things where there's a lot of people that do it, and a lot of schools have it, but the quality of mentors that are available for it are not necessarily all great, because there's a ton of schools. Like there's 50 plus D1 Power 5 schools, and you think every school is going to have a good throws coach? Probably not. I can't name, I mean, there's been 50 great throwers, but I can't name I'm not trying to get into pointing fingers at anybody, but like there's an oversaturation of people that are maybe a little underqualified for the jobs that they're doing. And this is not, I'm not throwing jabs at anybody for this, and I really am trying to skate over the thin ice. But not everybody's going to fit into a training environment too. Like I've been a part of training environments where, a lot of people have really benefited from it, and like some people haven't, right? And I'm one of the people, like I think that every training environment that I've been in, I've benefited from in some way. But I've also taken responsibility and accountability for the actions that for the outcomes that I produce because of my actions, right? And I don't know. I think that there are so many schools and there are so many levels of competition in the NCAA, and to think that every school has somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about with every event and training and programming and all this stuff, you're at a kind of a net law, or you're kind of at a net neutral, I'd say, because like that it's not reasonable to think that everybody knows exactly what they're talking about at any given time, right? But at a certain point though, and this is what I'm trying to get at a certain point, like you have to take full responsibility for whatever's going on. And whether that be, you think that you're not getting, good enough guidance from your coach, like, okay, have a conversation with them and then work from there. Like part of your responsibility as an athlete is to develop a vocabulary with your coach to further your results. Like your coach is not there for like the magic pill that you're going to take and magically get better at it, right? Like I don't think that there's maybe been 3 or 4 times that I've had a cue come from a coach and where I've been like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to try that, and then it magically fixes everything, right? But more often than not, it's me, like this is why you throw in practice. You don't throw in practice just to try to reinforce good habits, You throw in practice to try things that change the way you throw and try to make them, better. Like there's a certain framework that the majority of like elite javelin throwers throw in, right? But to think that like if you watch 10 throwers, they all look different, right? And why do they look different? Because elite throwers have made little alterations to like what feels right for them. And then from there, you benefit or you don't benefit. And I think the best throwers, if you look at them, they all look different. They all have a different, kind of technical finesse to the throw, but like they're all getting very similar results, right? Because no one body's the same, no one person's the same. Like somebody's mental approach to javelin might be, ready to run through a brick wall, and that worked for me for a while, and now I'm kind of trying to tone it back because my body couldn't really handle it, right? And some people just want to be zenned out, But for me, I could never be, completely calm, like, and, worry free whenever I throw. Like, I have to have some kind of, like, fire under my ass to get me going, right? But this all kind of gets back to this conversation of being honest with yourself, right? And taking responsibility and accountability for everything that you're doing. Because the one good thing, the one thing that I've never heard some of the best athletes say is like, oh man, I wish that this person would have, done something more for me, right? Or, I wish that I could have controlled this situation better. Or, I wish that like they don't deflect blame onto other people, and those those people that do are never going to be successful, because the moment that you decide to take full control over what's going on in your life is the moment that you're truly going to find out what kind of person you are. And I mean, for me, I moved from Pennsylvania to Louisiana in September. Well, actually, Virginia to Pennsylvania to Louisiana. So, I kind of have been on this little journey of self-discovery because I'm away from home. I'm in a very new environment where I'm making new friends. Because in Virginia, I was there for 5 years. Like, I was a leader on the team. I tried to make myself as approachable as possible, and it was very easy for me to make friends, right? Now, I train at LSU, and that's about it. Like, I work from my car, so I like do DoorDash, or I'm trying to do Uber. Outside of that, like, I have friends that I compete with, but I don't have many friends here, and that's okay. But like, I have very good friends. I have very close friends. Like, my friend group in Louisiana is probably a third or maybe a fourth of what it was in Virginia. But I feel more fulfilled here because we're all kind of chasing a similar goal, right? And yeah, there's not a lot of, oh, why me? Or, just complaining about things that are out of your control, right? Like, people show up, get shit done, and leave. And to me, I mean, that's been the most beneficial mindset to have, Like, if you're constantly showing up and looking for things to be upset about or be, find ways to ruin your day, Like, what kind of life are you going to be living? You're going to look back and you're gonna like think about just all of the bad things. Like, if I was looking through life, if I was going through life and just looking for every bad thing, I'd be the most depressed person in the world. And I'm not depressed. Like, I feel like I'm in a very good spot mentally. And that's not to say that I've never, had some tough times, like, but, I mean, I have. But also, if you go through life making the conscious decision to look at the good things, like practicing gratitude, you will improve yourself and your life so much more than in any other way. Like, I genuinely believe that. I don't know, I've kind of been soapboxing for a bit here, but really, like, I don't know, I think that there's a lot of merit to, somebody who can go through a shitty time with a smile on their face, right? And that's not to say, like, every time, like, you should never, feel sadness or anything. Like, be in tune with your emotions, but don't let them control you, because at a certain point, if you're constantly looking for ways to be a victim, you're gonna be a victim at the end of the day, right? One of my favorite quotes, I'm pretty sure it's Henry Ford, but he said there are two kinds of people in this world: those who think they can and those who think they can't, and they're both right. And I don't think I've ever heard a more true statement. You are exactly what you think you are, and you are exactly who you work every day towards being, right? And not everybody can handle that. And sometimes I can't handle that, but that's okay. I think that, like today, I think today is a good example. Like, I've had a great week up until this point of training, of, whatever it might be. Training, weights. I feel like I've been making a lot of strides with the coaching that I'm doing. It's been good, but, I'm moving forward in a direction that I like to see, So, I don't know. Things are good. But I think I'm going to call it there. Hope y'all are getting after it.